It had been a while since I had liked someone. And since the guy I was flirting with seemed special, I was determined to do it differently. And by do it, I mean do it. And by differently, I mean I was gonna make him work for it. And the reason I wanted to wait to have sex with him is because someone had told me that if I wanted a guy to stick around, I needed to wait to have sex with him, which is whack and wrong on a lot of levels. But at the time, that's what I was trying to do. So we went on a first date, we went on a second date, we kept hanging out, and at the end of every date, we'd have like really steamy makeout sessions, upping the ante every time a little bit, but never actually having sex. And this continued for several weeks until we were just like sick of that shit. And we decided like, okay, we're ready to have sex, but we wanted to be responsible. So we decided and we agreed we wouldn't have sex until we got tested. And the thing is, like, I'm not super reliable with doctor's appointments. So, like, that really easy task took, like, weeks longer than it should have. And so by the time we both got the green light, we were, like, super ready to go. And so we set up a date, and the date we planned was I would go to his house, we would wait for his roommates to take their kid to the park, and then we would immediately go upstairs and bang. And I was, like, down for that. And then the night before, I was getting ready for bed, and I started to get a little nervous. And I realized it was like, if you're waiting to have sex with someone, by the time you're about to have sex with them, you're like invested in them. And you're a little bit invested in the relationship. And it's like whack, because if the sex isn't good, then you like also leave with a broken heart. And I couldn't stop thinking like, what if I don't like having sex with him? Or like, what if he doesn't like having sex with me? But up to that point, you know, there had been no real reason to have those fears. And so I like went to sleep. The next day, I wake up, I go to his house, his roommates leave. We go upstairs, we get into bed, we're doing it. And it's really good. It's really, really good. And at the end, we both just like sigh. It's like we're relaxed, we're satisfied, and I feel so relieved because I'm not gonna have to break up with this man. And then he asks me, so, what are you thinking about right now? Which I wanna preface and say you should not ask after sex to your partner because it's just like not a fair question and it's like a little bit corny. And I should not have answered honestly because what I said to him was, I was wondering if you noticed my rash. My rash. It just echoed in the room. My face turned as red as my rash. And I just wanted to turn back time and say anything else, but it was too late because he responded and he said, oh yeah, I was wondering about that. And I was like, shit, like I might actually have to break up with this man. And so I like started to like pull the sheet up over my chest. That's where the rash was. And I just wanted to like hide my naked body. And I was like, just like ready to forget that it ever had happened. I was willing and prepared to actually just pretend it had never happened. And I was already like just like shoving that memory into the back of my mind where I store things I never want to think about again. Like, for example, the time I begged for a camera for Christmas and lost it a week later. Or like anytime I make a left on a busy street and almost die. Or like the time I blatantly ignored a rash on a part of my body that I knew would be visible during sex. I was like, we gotta move on. I gotta do something. I did what any responsible grown woman would do in that situation. And I said, oh, I'm like pretty sure it's not contagious. So like, can we just move on, forget it, it's not that important. And as I lay there next to him, just like willing myself to die, he looked at me and he said like, of course it's important, Kelsey. Your health matters to me. I know. I was like, I looked at the angel lying next to me and I couldn't fucking believe it. It was so nice. And he seemed so genuinely unbothered, which maybe should have been a red flag, but it wasn't. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then he took a picture of my boobs for the doctor, because it's not that type of sex file. And I sent it to my friend who's an OBGYN, and she diagnosed it as heat rash and prescribed me a cream, and I used the cream and the rash went away. And the next time that I had sex with that guy, he didn't ask me what was on my mind. Thank you.